Chào mừng các bang. Welcome. Vietnam Crypto Insights. This is Terrence, your host with the most, coming from the sometimes baffling, exhilarating world of crypto here in Vietnam. I'm your host with the most, Terrence, and today we're going to be doing a lot of things. You're probably wondering where I was at the past week. You know, sometimes you have to keep your ear to the street to understand what's truly going on, and that's what I've been doing, going to events and meetups, talking to some of the folks that's doing some of the development and influencing here of the markets, and also the young leaders. Man, there's a lot of young leaders here that are doing a lot of tremendous things with blockchain and crypto. But with that in mind, let's go ahead and dive right in. And if it's your first time, welcome. Make sure that you, if you like the program, give me a like and subscribe. First things first, let's address the quiet hum in the crypto market that's been going on for the past week or two since Trump has instituted these tariffs, global tariffs, and then he actually scaled them back and focused on China. Lately, a lot of people have either temporarily left the space or stopped trading. It's under 100 million in active shorts or longs. So, we get to see the true effect of supply and demand on the markets, which is good because it's not manipulation. So, but yeah, trading volume is, thank God, is taking a dip. But until the past day, some of the big cryptos were running in the walls. There was a lot of memes going around, and as always, there's a lot of funny people on social media that were talking about how Ethereum and some of the other top coins were actually running into a brick wall. But you know what? Looks like there's a catalyst that might have stirred things up. There's a lot of things that have tricked up the activity. And, because I tell you, it was like falling asleep looking at the charts every day, kind of like our neighborhood security guard at the cafe. But, all jokes aside, this activity is looks like it's signaling look like it's considered a consolidation phase before the next significant price action. Um, it's whatever the reason for it. A sudden spike like what's looks like it's occurring today um, might be a golden opportunity. Now let's talk about the global economic landscape and picture. Macroeconomics is my forte here. The big economics at play here, especially the U.S. Fed. Now, interestingly, recent reports suggest that perceived threats to the Fed's independence by King Trump himself has actually sent the dollar into a bit of a slump. And, guess who that seems to be benefiting? Not only Bitcoin, but XRP, Ethereum, Cardano. They've all seen a significant rise here the past couple of days. And, adding fuel to this fire, it looks like Bitcoin is managed to break out. It's retaken its $87,000 mark after an early slump this month, and that suggests that the market is indeed reaching to the broader economic narratives and the weakening of the dollar, and is hopefully decoupling from a lot of these other things. But the potential Fed rate decreases coupled with this perceived pressure, it seems to be creating some sort of like tailwind for crypto. And it's like the market is saying, if the traditional system wobbles, then maybe these decentralized assets are safer bet. And I think that's what seems to be the narrative that's playing out. And I'm not a big trader, but looking at the technical patterns, we're seeing a lot of great positive indicators. We're seeing golden crosses forming on the charts of the altcoins, the broader altcoin market as a whole. And this is, as a reminder, this happens when the short-term moving averages cross the long-term one. It's often interpreted as a sign of upward momentum. And, keep in mind that, these golden crosses and some of these other signals or something like, they're not guaranteed indicators, but, always combine your technical analysis like I do with your own fundamental research and a healthy dose of skepticism, because you don't never know exactly what's going to happen with these indicators. But interestingly, our beloved meme coins, Doge and Shiba, both major meme coins, and some of the OGs in the space are also breaking out of falling wedges. And, could this be a sign of a new renewed sense of optimism for the meme-driven uh, sentiment here across the space? It sure looks like it. Analyzing the fundamentals of the meme coins, is always a unique challenge. But, however, the technical formations, they can attract attention and potentially trigger meme coins like Doge and SHIB and some of the other ones to go high. I like, one of the big ones that's actually been spiking here the past couple of days is broccoli, which is inspired off of CZ's dog. But, trade with caution if you're a trader. I'm a hodler, so I don't have to worry about these things. But, on a slightly different note, but it's related, the on-chain perpetual futures market is seeing some really fascinating shifts. Hyperliquid, which, is one of the platforms that's been popular, it has apparently captured about 70% of this market, and with an astounding 175 million or billion in monthly value. Now, this highlights the intense activity and leverage this present in certain segments of the crypto space. It's showing that the, while spot value might be down, the derivatives market is still buzzing. So, take a look at Hyperliquid and see if there's some options on there for you for a trader, because I think that they have a very, very fun and very useful setup on their platform. Now, turning to the local things here, back to Vietnam. I was actually lucky to rub elbows with some really big movers and shakers here this past week. There was an event that was hosted by blockstar, which is a collaboration between a couple of the big Web3 properties here. And I got to talk to some movers and shakers. There was some actually government people there too. They're actually supposed to be, they're in the early stages of this though, but and I think that should be hopefully taking a effect here this summer, optimistically speaking, because sometimes stuff can move slow here in Vietnam. But they're supposed to be doing something as far as legally wise, adapting this framework for digital assets, which would be very, very good for the space here, because a lot of people operate in a gray area here because there's really no regulation, so to speak. The wonderful thing, though, that I was told by one of the insiders was that they plan on doing something here in Vietnam, particularly Ho Chi Minh City, about something similar, sort of like Dubai, with a crypto hub, which is going to offer various tax incentives and various other means to help you grow a business here that's digital asset related. So take an eye. I'm gonna hopefully keep you posted on that. I'm gonna keep an eye on the developments and inform the community here and everybody globally that's watching as well as that takes hold. I'm trying to get one of the guys on the show here too for an interview, so we can actually get the full depth and breadth of what's going to be happening with these regulations. Now, finally, let's see. I'm going to shine a light on the new crypto project that I was just made aware of this past week, from touching bases with some of the on the streets guys that I know here, some of the young movers and shakers in the Web3 crypto space. There's a new crypto project that's actually trying to make inroads here in Vietnam, which, this is actually a good barometer for what the broader space, and because a lot of the crypto projects, they reach out to go to Asia in Vietnam, particularly Hong Kong, Bali, Dubai. They touched ground here first, one of these 4 or 5 places. And there's one crypto project, Pharos Network, which was founded by former members of Ant Group's blockchain business. CEO is Alex Yang. And this project bridges the gap between TradFi and DeFi with some influence or some relationship to real world assets. So that's its aim. And it's also an aim to be a ultra high performance EVM layer 1 blockchain, and it's capable of processing about 50,000 transactions per second right now. So it's a very fast chain. It's it actually was, the testnet just launched this month. They've actually got about 8 million in seed funding in November. They have the whole modular and scalable infrastructure, parallel processing, kind of like SWI and some of the other newer chains as well, cross-chain interoperability. So they've got a lot of different things going on. It's a very high-end, tech-driven type of blockchain, and they're hitting the market here pretty fast. I've actually just missed. I wanted to go to this event this week, and I missed. As always, this is not investment advice. Do your own research. All of these crypto assets do carry an inherent risk with them, so be careful. But that's another wrap up for the week. And as always, give me a thumbs up if you like the content. Drop your comments in the suggestion or in the comment section, and any questions you might have. And always keep it coffee and crypto. We'll check you out next week. It was a pleasure talking with you. See you next time.